Right, in our first visit, we had you write down your one thing. Okay, we had you write down your one thing. And today we're going to start to connect more of the dots. That one thing that you've always wanted to do and haven't been able to follow through on, a one-time thing or a new habit thing. Or that one thing you've always wanted to stop doing. Raising your voice, being sarcastic, or start doing that one thing. Get to the gym, start working out, write a book, get the Nobel Peace Prize. Whatever your thing is where you've wanted to add something or subtract something, but it's always gotten in the way. Now, as I was researching this experience for myself and for others, I was learning this fascinating thing called introspection. This might be a new term for some of you, but most of you it's not. For women, it's like, duh, we learned that in third grade. For us men, yeah, I learned that when I was 35. Introspection, for those of you who don't know, is the process of thinking about and listening to what's going on inside. Now, it comes along with another fancy word called metacognition. If you want to sound really smart amongst your peers, just throw metacognition into a sentence somewhere, as if you always say it. Metacognition is the ability to think about what you are thinking about. The ability to think about what you are thinking about. Most of us don't start to gain this ability until we enter our teens and the frontal lobe starts to develop. But as I was starting to pay attention and introspect, I was a little concerned about some of the conversations going on in my mind. I was following along and go, oh, that's an interesting thought. Oh, that's an interesting feeling, which even became worse when I went on a mission and they took my music away from me. They took my television away from me. They took my 8 brothers away from me. They took my mom and dad away from me. They took my school teachers, my church leaders, my girlfriends, well, one at a time, of course. And all of a sudden, there's nobody talking. And it's you all by yourself. And there was a space there. And I could say hello in my brain and hear an echo. But when there was talking going on, sometimes I heard things that were a little unfortunate. I know none of you ever experienced that, right? None of you ever experienced temptation. None of you ever experienced torment. None of you experienced turmoil in your minds. I was a bit horrified when I really started to introspect because the percentage of unfortunate thoughts in my head was over 50%. Now, I'm sure all of you keep track of that, right? You write down your thoughts and you give it a pie chart and you score yourself on how you're doing in your brain, okay? Because we all do that. But us nerdy people like me will do this. And it wasn't very fun to see what was going on. So I started exploring it further. I was introduced to this concept called negative self-talk. And I'm all, well, that's horrible. So what you're telling me is that I spontaneously, accidentally, from some unknown part of my brain, start to say negative things to myself. So when I make my planning session, I think I'll go to the gym today, and then I'm next having a conversation, but you hate the gym. You don't want to go to the gym. Gym is for people who are gross and like to sweat and feel stinky. Okay, like, wait, which one is me? The best way to introduce this concept is to tell a story of a young man. All right, everyone ready for story time? Get your blinky. Get your snack.
If you're finding this video helpful or want to help us reach others in need, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really supports our channel. Thank you.
Once upon a time, there was a young man, and he might have been one of those guys that was dumb enough to be excited to go to war. When we were back then, it was an exciting thing to go to war, so this young man goes to boot camp, and he's pretty dang smart, and he's pretty dang motivated, and he accidentally becomes the leader of a dozen guys. After they finish camp, they fly over to Vietnam, dump him out of the airplane, and him and his crew, the captain of the people who've been there for a while, runs up to him and says, "Soldier, drop your bag, grab your guns, see that mountain over there, go get it." He gathers his team, he drops his bags, he's got his flamethrower in one hand, a machine gun in the other hand. They're just blazing a trail. They are almost to their destination of success when the enemy steps it up a notch and pushes them and their men down into a bunker. While they're in their bunker, they're trying to decide what to do. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Their radio crackles. It sounds like some guy from Texas on the other line. "Hey, soldier, it looks like you're in a bad situation." He's all, "Can you just help us out here? We just need help." All right. We see you, but you can't see us. Just take your men, go here, here, and here, you'll be fine. He takes his men, they start following the instructions. Halfway out of the forest, the enemy jumps out of the bushes and kills all your men. And right before their leader kills you, he shows you an American radio he had stolen the other day and talks to you as if he's from Texas. This class is called Eternal Warriors because some of the most important principles that we can teach you come from a military type background. We've already been told that there is a war in heaven. We've been told in the final days there will be wars and rumors of wars. Wouldn't it have been nice as a soldier in the story to have been told that the enemy might steal your communication devices and pretend to be a trusted voice? We are all familiar with what it feels like for the Holy Ghost to share a message with us, and we're not sure if it was us or the Holy Ghost. Was that me or was that the Holy Ghost? I can't tell the difference all the time. Well, we've been told that the serpent is the most subtle of all the beasts of the field. What if Satan, as a 7,000-year-old psychologist, figured out how to talk to you in your own voice, in your own head. I want you to think about that for a second. I want you to think about the last 12 hours, the last 4 hours, the last 6 hours, and imagine if some of those phrases that were not like you. Let me return to my own example. I really want to go to the gym tomorrow morning. I wake up the next morning and I don't want to go to the gym. Am I two different people? Am I not the same person? Did I switch personalities? Why do I not want to go to the gym? Because I'm lazy and I don't like the gym. Wait a minute. I do like the gym though. I like the experience. No, you don't. You don't like it. I don't. Wait, what? This is where the concept of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde comes from, and why it's so popular is because most human beings feel like there's a tug of war inside of their mind. But the sad thing about my profession is that someone said, in psychology, there is no Holy Ghost and there is no Satan. Everything that happens in your brain is either from your conscience or your subconscious, and it's all you. Now, when I first started to understand this concept of, wait a minute, what if that negative phrase, maybe you should cheat on this test? You know what, your wife is a really difficult person to live with sometimes. No, wait, that's not how I prefer to think. Where's that coming from? When I was first studying this, I was really worried that maybe I'm the only one who experiences this. Maybe I'm a really messed up person. Over the last 17 years, as I've been sharing this with people, the amount of people who've gained or an awareness of this in their own mind and experience has become very blatant. How can you tell the difference in the voices in your head? And are you sure it's not just your subconscious?
I loved learning about this because I really thought I must have been a really bad person. Because I'd be going along doing my own thing, and all of a sudden these horrible thoughts would come into my mind, and I'd be like, okay, why am I thinking that about that person? That's my friend. I like that person. I like all these things. But then all these negative thoughts would come in, and I was like, okay, well, what is that? And why am I all of a sudden thinking that when I wasn't thinking? If you don't know what it is, I at least started really thinking, man, I must be really bad, because they didn't go away. They would come and go and come and go. And so for me, this was really one of the life-changing pieces for me, because I was like, that wasn't me. That isn't me. That is the adversary trying to take me down. I still have to work really hard on, okay, what is that thought? And a lot of times I will actually feel flooded with emotions, just negative emotions. And then at this point, I'm like, okay, what are the thoughts that are underlying in my mind that I just haven't quite noticed yet? Or maybe I have, but I kind of keep pushing them off.
Thank you so much. Let us remember that when we experience a message from the Holy Ghost and it whispers something to us and whispers something again and maybe even a third time, at no point in the process does the Holy Ghost make us do anything. This is also true of Satan. Satan does not make you do anything. He doesn't force you to do anything, but he doesn't mind being intrusive. He doesn't mind being invasive. He doesn't mind being disruptive. And so one of our biggest challenges is, are we over studying Satan or are we understudying him? I'm going to remind you, this is an Eternal Warriors class, not a Sunday school class. I am a scientist and a warrior trainer, not a prophet. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a church leader. This is not a Sunday school class. There is a concept called the atonement. There's a concept called salvation. There's a concept called being born again. There's all sorts of spiritual concepts that are very important for you to learn how to implement into your life. And there are people in your life that are going to be helping you do that. My responsibility is similar to Captain Moroni's responsibility. I am not Moroni. I'm not Mormon. I'm not your spiritual leader. I am your military leader. My job is to teach you how to watch for the enemy and how to use weapons and tools to fight against the enemy and win those battles. We are told and demonstrated from the Book of Mormon that the wars are not going to go away, and that normal people who just want to live normal lives are going to be dragged into the war whether you like it or not. I'm sad that you get to go to boot camp. I know you'd rather be in a cake decorating class. I know you'd rather be building a chair in your garage, but welcome to the modern day world where we are under attack and we need to learn how to fight back.